Stop what you're doing. Because the drama meter in Cleveland just snapped in half. Shedeur Sanders, the name that's been quietly simmering under the surface all preseason, is no longer simmering. He's boiling. Exploding. Done. After weeks of being benched, ignored, sidelined, and gaslit by the Browns' quarterback development plan, the young star has finally done what fans were begging for. He formally requested a trade.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
Yep, it's official. The gloves are off, the curtains pulled back, and the chaos is on full display. Cleveland's quarterback controversy just morphed into a full-blown organizational meltdown, and Shedeur is the eye of the storm. But let's be clear. This isn't just some disgruntled rookie throwing a tantrum. This is a calculated public stand against a system that refused to take him seriously, even when he gave them every reason to. And if you've been paying attention, you saw this coming a mile away. Let's rewind for a second. After his rocky, sabotage-flavored debut earlier this preseason, remember the one where Stefanski threw him in with four-string linemen and called it development? Shedeur could have crumbled. He could have backed down, faded into the background, and waited for crumbs. But instead, he came back with heat. We're talking over 70% completion rate, poise under pressure, smart pocket awareness, and multiple drives where he looked like the only guy on the field who had a clue what was going on. Fans took notice. So did his teammates. Whispers turned into chants. Start Shedeur. Let the kid cook. QB1. And what did Coach Stefanski do? He benched him. Again. Not because of bad play. Not because of attitude. But because, allegedly, he's still developing. That's when something snapped. Not just in Shedeur but in the entire fanbase. Browns fans, who are not exactly known for being chill, absolutely lost it. Social media went into DEFCON 1. Season ticket holders started threatening cancellations. People were showing up to training camp with homemade signs like #FreeShedeur and Bench Stefanski, not Sanders. But now it's real. No more cryptic tweets. No more subtle shade in pressers. Shedeur Sanders has made it official. He wants out. And that single trade request? It just launched 1,000 front office meetings across the NFL. Because make no mistake, teams want him. You think the New York Jets wouldn't leap at the chance to inject some young talent into their aging, drama-saturated quarterback room? Please. You think the Raiders, who are practically holding quarterback additions in a broom closet, wouldn't roll out a red carpet for Sanders and hand him the keys to the franchise? Let's not even start on the Commanders. That team would trade half their roster just for someone who can complete a third down pass and trend on TikTok. This is a gold rush. Shedeur isn't just talented. He's marketable. He's young. He's composed. And most importantly, he has something to prove. You cannot buy that kind of fire. And while all of this is sending shockwaves across the league, the Browns, they're once again fumbling the ball before the play even starts. Because here's the deal, this isn't just a player demanding a trade. This is a spotlight on how broken Cleveland's internal culture really is. You've got ownership saying one thing, coaching doing another, and players caught in the crossfire. Word on the street is that even inside the locker room, people are choosing sides. Some players reportedly support Shedeur's decision to bounce. Others are confused. Most are just tired of the instability. It's giving bad franchise energy. And Stefanski? At this point, he looks like the teacher in a classroom where the students are setting things on fire while he's still handing out worksheets. His response to the trade request? Some painfully neutral coach speak about respecting Shedeur's decision and continuing to evaluate the quarterback room. Sir, your quarterback room is on fire. One of your most promising talents is literally asking to leave. And all you've got is, we're evaluating? This isn't a chemistry lab. This is the NFL. And Shedeur's making it crystal clear. He's not interested in being someone's long-term science experiment. He wants to play. And he wants to play somewhere that sees his value before he becomes the next breakout star. Somewhere else. But here's the poetic part of all this. By asking for a trade, Shedeur just took back the narrative. Think about it. For weeks, the story was, is Shedeur ready? Why isn't he playing? What's going on with the Browns' QB strategy? Now, the story is, which team gets him first? That's a massive shift. And Shedeur made it happen. Not with drama. Not with ego. But with performance, patience, and finally, a power move. And the league? Is watching very closely. Because this isn't just a Shedeur Sanders story anymore. This is a case study in player empowerment. It's a spotlight on how much influence young athletes actually have in an era where branding, social media, and fan loyalty can move faster than front office decisions. We're seeing the new generation of players take control of their careers, and Shedeur might be the face of that movement. What he's doing right now, just bold, risky, but calculated. It says, I'm not waiting for a team to figure out my worth. I'll go where I'm wanted. That's not diva energy. That's vision. And honestly, it's about time. Because how many times have we seen talented young quarterbacks get buried under developmental concerns, while older, less dynamic players are handed the starting role because they're safe? How many times have coaches clung to outdated playbooks while ignoring the very future of the league sitting on their own bench? This trade request is a line in the sand. A challenge not just to Cleveland but to every team in the league. If you want me, show me. If not, there are 31 other teams on speed dial. And don't get it twisted, this is going to change things. Franchises are now scrambling. GMs are texting agents. Player personnel teams are running simulations. What would our offense look like with Shedeur Sanders under center? Spoiler alert, probably a lot better than whatever they're working with right now. And meanwhile, Cleveland is about to enter its villain arc. Because if they try to play hardball, if they refuse to let Shedeur go, if they hold him hostage on the depth chart just to prove a point, it's going to get ugly. Fast. Fans will revolt. Media will swarm. The drama will double. Or worse, if they cave quietly and trade him away for peanuts, they'll be remembered as the team that had a gem and let it slip through their fingers because they couldn't recognize it shining right in front of them. So here we are. The clock's ticking. The world's watching. And Shedeur Sanders? He's making moves. From bench to buzzworthy. From not ready to most wanted. This is the story of a young quarterback who refused to wait for permission and started writing his own playbook. Will the Browns recover? Will Stefanski survive the backlash? And most importantly, where's Shedeur heading next? Drop your predictions in the comments, because this trade saga is just heating up. And don't forget to subscribe, because if this is how Shedeur Sanders' rookie year is going, just imagine what happens next. And just when you thought the drama couldn't escalate any further, bam! Rumors start swirling that Shedeur Sanders has already been in early talks with multiple franchises. The Browns haven't even finished pretending to have control over this situation, and teams are practically lining up like it's Black Friday at Best Buy. Because let's be honest, quarterbacks like Shedeur do not hit the market this early. They're usually locked down, protected, nurtured, or at the very least played. But when a young, media-savvy, high-IQ quarterback decides he's done waiting, oh, the NFL ecosystem goes into full panic buy mode. It's giving free agency frenzy, but with actual talent instead of aging backups trying to squeeze out one more season. You've got the Jets reportedly extremely interested. Which, their current QB strategy is one injury away from a Netflix documentary. They've got a talented roster, a massive market, and a head coach who's probably one more offensive implosion away from hosting a motivational podcast. Plug in Shedeur? That team is suddenly young, exciting, and extremely marketable. You don't think Nike's already dreaming up the Broadway Sanders ad campaign? Then there's the Raiders. Oh boy. The Las Vegas Raiders, a team that has been chronically allergic to quarterback stability since Derek Carr left and the whole franchise went into reboot every 6 months mode. They desperately need a face of the franchise, and no disrespect to their current options, but Shedeur Sanders walking into that stadium would inject more electricity into the fanbase than any draft pick they've had in years. And don't even get us started on Washington. The Commanders are in their desperation era. New ownership, rebranding, shaky quarterback room is the perfect storm. They need a spark. They need a story. And Shedeur? He's a walking headline, a locker room leader, and a player who could turn that whole narrative around. The league knows this. Everyone knows this. Everyone, that is, except the Cleveland Browns. Because even now, they're clinging to some bizarre illusion that they still have leverage. That they can either sit Shedeur until he develops, or trade him for some lopsided package that works for the organization. Let's be clear, the Browns have no leverage. None. The second that trade request hit the headlines, the Browns' credibility went out the window. This isn't a chess game anymore. This is damage control. The only question now is, can they salvage anything before this entire QB situation becomes the cautionary tale of the decade? Let's not forget, they could have avoided all of this. Shedeur didn't walk in with diva energy. He didn't demand to be the starter on day one. He just wanted a fair shot. He came in, worked hard, impressed people, and kept his head down. And even after being benched, ignored, and played behind an O-line made of paper, he still didn't blow up. He let his performance do the talking. And when that didn't work, he made a power move. You know what that is? That's professionalism. That's strategy. That's knowing your worth and refusing to be gaslit into silence. So now, fans are split into two camps. And spoiler alert, one of them is way louder than the other. Camp A, Shedeur is young, he should wait his turn, this is disrespectful to the process. Camp B, the process is broken. He balled out. He got benched. He asked out. Good for him. And you want to know where most of his teammates are leaning? Quietly, cautiously, toward Camp B. Because if there's one thing that spreads fast in a locker room, it's the scent of injustice. Players may not always say it publicly, but they know when one of their own is getting the short end of the stick. And when the guy getting shafted is showing more leadership and maturity than the coaching staff. That locker room starts to crack. And let's talk about Kevin Stefanski for a second. Because it's time to say it out loud. This might be the move that ends him. Think about it. You've got a front office that just watched a rising star slip through their fingers while their head coach played PR word games. You've got a fan base ready to riot. You've got sports media in full attack mode. If Stefanski doesn't immediately salvage this situation, or at least explain what the game plan was, he might be updating his LinkedIn profile before Halloween. Because the NFL isn't kind to coaches who mismanage quarterbacks. Especially quarterbacks who become stars somewhere else. And oh, just imagine the scenes if Shadur lands with the Jets and starts lighting it up at MetLife. Or if he walks into Allegiant Stadium in Vegas and starts cooking defenses on prime time. Meanwhile, Cleveland is still overpaying for mediocre quarterback play while watching highlight reels of the guy they benched for developmental reasons. You couldn't script a more humiliating timeline. And while the Browns are stuck in their tragic little feedback loop, Shadur is moving. Behind the scenes, his camp is reportedly already exploring not just team fits, but brand deals, media opportunities, social platforms, foundation partnerships. The whole empire. Because this isn't just a trade. This is a transition. From overlooked rookie to full-fledged franchise QB and media brand. The Browns thought they were controlling his development. Turns out, they were just writing Act 1 of his origin story. And if you think he's not aware of that, if you think Shadur Sanders hasn't been planning this arc since the moment the whispers started, you haven't been paying attention. This kid has watched his father take on entire institutions and win. He's grown up around legacy, media, and expectation. He knows how this works, and he's doing it his way. So now here we are. The Browns are on fire. The NFL is watching. And the Shadur sweepstakes are officially underway. This is the new NFL. This is what happens when players decide they're not going to wait politely in line while coaches pretend they know best. This is what it looks like when a young, talented, marketable player refuses to play the game by broken rules, and makes his own. And the team's smart enough to see that? They're already on the phone. And now that the trade request is out in the open, the NFL's unofficial drama department, also known as literally every sports show, podcast, and TikTok account with a mic, has entered full meltdown mode. You can't scroll 5 seconds without seeing some hot take like, should Shadur have waited his turn? Or, is this the beginning of a new era in quarterback empowerment? Or, my personal favorite, are the Browns cursed or just chronically incapable? Let's not pretend we don't know the answer to that last one. Because at this point, Browns quarterback controversy is practically an annual event. It's tradition, a ritual. The sun rises in the east, Cleveland fumbles a quarterback situation, and NFL Twitter feasts. But this one hits different. Why? Because this time the quarterback didn't just get tossed around. He stood up and said, "Nah, I'm not playing your game." And now, the game has changed. See, Shedur's not just requesting a trade. He's rejecting the entire narrative that the league usually slaps on young black quarterbacks. You know the one. The raw talent but needs time. The good athlete, questionable decision-making. The developmental project with upside. No. Shadur is telling them loudly and clearly, I'm ready now. You're just not ready for me. And that hits the league where it hurts, control. Because let's get real. The NFL has always liked its quarterbacks a certain way. Safe, quiet, system pleasers who smile politely and thank the coaching staff even while sitting behind dudes who throw 2 picks per game and somehow still have job security. Shadur? He's not that. He's poised but not passive. Charismatic but not coddled. He's got the resume, the talent, the film, the followers, and now he's got the audacity to believe he should actually play. And that audacity? Oh, it's contagious. Players around the league are watching this unfold like it's a new blueprint. Because for years rookies were told, Shut up, wait your turn, prove yourself in silence. But Shedeur just flipped that script. He proved himself, was ignored, and then made noise. And now he's a trending topic. That's power. And let's not forget, this isn't some random undrafted guy trying to force his way into the conversation. This is a quarterback with a legit college career, NFL bloodlines, and a preseason performance that statistically outshined every other QB in the room. The numbers were there. The tape was there. The leadership? Also there. So when he got benched for the 4th time in a row, everyone knew it wasn't about performance. It was politics. Plain and simple. And politics is where the Browns always choke. You've got Stefanski trying to juggle a quarterback room like it's an open mic night. You've got ownership allegedly pressuring the staff to stick with the plan. And now, you've got fans, players, and the entire sports media landscape looking at the organization like it's that one kid in group projects who brings nothing but still insists on being team captain. Meanwhile, Shadeur's stock is skyrocketing. Front offices are quietly panicking, not because they think Shadeur's going to flop, but because they're trying to figure out if they can afford him. Not financially, every team's got cap space when they want to, but culturally. They're wondering if their organization is even prepared to handle a player who isn't going to stay in his lane. Spoiler, a lot of them aren't. But that's where the real contenders separate themselves. Because if you're a GM with actual vision, you're not just looking at Shadeur's arm strength or completion rate, you're looking at his presence. The way he handled disrespect with grace. The way he made a calculated, professional move instead of an emotional outburst. That's quarterback stuff. That's franchise leader material. You think the Commanders wouldn't give up draft picks and half of RFK's blueprints for a shot at that energy? You think the Raiders wouldn't sell their entire tight end room just to put someone under center who can read a defense and stay calm under pressure? And the Jets? Don't even get me started. Aaron Rodgers is great when healthy, sure. But let's not act like the Jets wouldn't leap at the chance to lock in their future instead of just praying the present holds up. Shedeur under Rodgers' wing for even one season? That's not just succession planning. That's chess. And as all these teams start circling like sharks in custom-tailored suits, the Browns are still standing there, wondering how it all fell apart. Well, let's go ahead and spell it out for them. You benched your best-performing quarterback in the preseason. You stuck him behind players who couldn't catch a cold in January. You ignored fan outrage, player support, media criticism, and common sense. And then, when he took the high road and asked for a trade respectfully, you acted surprised. This isn't just a quarterback leaving. This is an indictment. On the culture. On the coaching. On the so-called developmental plan. Because if this is what development looks like, no wonder the Browns haven't had a stable quarterback since, ever. But while Cleveland spirals into another cycle of soul-searching, Shedeur is already shaping the next chapter. And here's the crazy part. He hasn't even officially been traded yet. He's still technically a Brown. But in the eyes of the league, the fans, the media, and anyone with functioning football intuition, he's already gone. Mentally, spiritually, narratively, he's out. And wherever he lands, oh, it's going to be a moment. Imagine the scene. Shedeur walks into his new team's locker room. No more buried on the depth chart. No more excuses. Just opportunity. Just ball. First drive, he steps onto the field. The camera pans. The commentators can barely contain themselves. The fans are buzzing. And in that moment, everything, the drama, the trade request, the Cleveland chaos, it all fades. It's just him. The ball. The field. And the chance to show everyone what he's been saying this entire time without ever raising his voice. I'm ready. So what happens next? We wait. We watch. And we remember. Because whether it's New York, Vegas, DC, or some dark horse we haven't even considered yet, wherever Shedeur Sanders goes, the NFL will never be the same again. So go ahead, drop your dream team in the comments. Who needs Shedeur the most? Where do you want to see him thrive? And who do you blame for this quarterback catastrophe? And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because if this is just the beginning of Shedeur's professional era, you're going to want front row seats. This isn't a player leaving a team. This is a shift in the league. And Shedeur Sanders? He's not just changing teams. He's changing the game. It's week 1. The regular season. Somewhere, maybe MetLife, maybe Allegiant, maybe FedEx Field, there's a tunnel filled with fog and hype. The new QB1 jogs out. Cameras flash. Jerseys ripple in the crowd. The name on the back? Sanders. Not Watson. Not Garoppolo. Not Sam Howell. No, Sanders. And in that moment, the league collectively realizes what the Browns refused to see. You don't bury a star, you build around him. Now, imagine how Cleveland's gonna feel watching that unfold. Watching the same guy they shoved behind third stringers now walking into a stadium to the sound of 70,000 fans chanting his name. Watching him run an offense built for him, not against him. Watching him sling touchdowns while their own QB room is melting down on national television for the third year in a row. Because let's be honest, it's not just about Shedeur's performance anymore. It's about what he represents. He represents the player who didn't wait for permission. The rookie who refused to smile through disrespect. The young quarterback who said, "You're not going to waste my prime years babysitting a broken system." And the NFL needs that. This league talks a big game about evolving, about innovation, about empowering athletes. But it still has dusty corners that cling to outdated playbooks and outdated thinking. Shedeur is that disruptive force. Not loud, not arrogant, but unapologetically aware of his own worth. And the Browns? They just lost him. Not because he couldn't play, but because they wouldn't. So now all they can do is damage control. Throw out some half-hearted statement about how they wish him the best. Maybe try to spin it like the timing just wasn't right. But the fans know. The league knows. The story's already been written, and Cleveland's name is stamped next to another fumbled opportunity. And Shedeur? He's already on the next page. Maybe it's a rollout to the left. Maybe it's a no-look dart across the middle. Maybe it's just a calm, collected interview after a comeback win, thanking his teammates, smiling like someone who knew this was coming all along. Because if there's one thing we've learned through this entire saga, it's that Shedeur Sanders doesn't chase spotlight. He becomes it. So buckle up. Because wherever he lands, it's not just going to be a story. It's going to be a reckoning.